Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trekking Across the Universe here on the NDB Media Network. It is episode 5 review of Star Wars Ahsoka, and boy, we are getting this one going. And already, about 2.5 hours ago, was our first comment. Beamer, thank you for returning. Hopefully, we're going to have you join us shortly. And folks, it looks like we're live on everything. So we are thrilled, unlike Monday night's
Yay!
episode. So that is a good thing. Want to welcome Elizabeth. Good. Speak for yourself. But sure, I'm sure you're a Padawan, young lady. But that's okay. We're going to I'm actually going to wait till a few more people get in because I have a new lightsaber. I'm going to see if you guys can figure out who it belongs to. Oh, dude, I think I have one for each episode. But all kidding aside, I am Palpatine. You know who I am. And that is, ooh, who is that? Is that Miko or is that Mikael? Who are you, Senator? Introduce yourself, please.
I'm no one.
No, that's another program. Arc 2 does not belong here.
Oh, well, I did change it. It did say that.
Yes, it did.
Well,
So,
that also could have been Game of Thrones.
ooh, yes, it could have. And good evening, Darth Gregorius. How are you doing?
I'm on the mend.
Yeah, you weren't feeling very well, were you?
I hung in there for the lovely Mercedes.
Yeah,
Dela
you did.
Cruz.
And it was an absolutely wonderful interview.
What an impressive woman. Thank you for including me in that.
Oh,
It
there's
was a
no
delight to meet her.
Yeah, it is. Each and every time. Yes. And I feel flattered that she was on the attack and she went after yours truly. And I'm all right with that. I am all right.
I think she's one of the gang.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I
Yep.
mean, golly gee willikers, yes. Yes. But all kidding aside, folks, we are enamored with her as well as the program every time she's been on. Yeah, yeah. And that's a question because last time apparently I misquoted and I was reprimanded by Mercedes. So she didn't reprimand it, she just corrected it. But yeah, it's all good in the hood. Folks, all kidding aside. And yes,
Hey, Beamer.
greetings. All right. I appreciate that. I did catch your comment earlier, 2.5 hours ago. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to get into it. Folks, there's a lot to talk about tonight. It is episode 5, otherwise known as part 5, Shadow Warrior, written by Dave Filoni, directed by Dave Filoni. I did not get the runtime, but the episode did debut 2 days ago on September 12th, 2013. And wow.
I caught the runtime. So total runtime was 51:56
Ooh.
when I recorded it, and total episode time was 44:16 without the recap and logo and end credits.
Excellent. Thank you, Darth. And it is good. So we're going to get to it. Your thoughts before we get into everything. Darth, some of your thoughts going in.
Well, it was a character development episode, but what an epic character development episode. Slightly bummed we didn't get all the way out to Peridia, but we're well on our way, and what an amazing way to add to the character that is Ahsoka. And we got to see Hayden Christensen. We got to see a lot of beautiful nods to the Clone Wars cartoon, and it was just, I mean, when I was rewatching it, I had every intent of like skipping ahead because I was pressed for time to come on live, and I was caught just enthralled all over again.
Appreciate that. Senator.
Well, I was hoping they were going to get there too, but they did do a lot of character development, which was good. We can see. Oh, no, see, now I forget everybody's name. That's what drives me insane. Do I have notes today? No. But whatever. The kid. I know you have notes. I know you do. Oh, 4 sentences. That's good. That's good. Yes, that was for you, Greg.
Thank you for that.
I try my best.
Here. Where's
Yes, I
my?
try
Yeah,
my
may
best.
the force be with you.
Yes, there you go. But no, but you can tell he really is sensitive to the force. I mean, he heard things that everyone's going, "What? What do you mean?" You know, and I think it has surprised Ahsoka too. So
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that I did not get an image of that, but I did get other images, and I have them uploaded. And I'm going to ask my co-hosts that if they feel that there's an important moment that they want to show, I asked them to get the screen cap. I have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But 2 of them are going to be reused over and over. We're going to get to them just to give a little bit of wait till we're talking about. But boy, when you mentioned the Clone Wars, yeah, we saw quite a bit of the Clone Wars. Yes, we did. And there is a lot of stuff. So Jason was a fun character to give us a taste of. You know what? That might be it right there where we're going to begin. It was interesting how it wasn't the adults, it was the young one. Yes, he's foreign sensitive, but this besides the point. If you look at the way the story is being told, it is being told through the eyes of a young one, and it is Jason. And he says, "Do you not? Do you, Mom? Something's up with the water." It's like, what? Like what? Don't you hear it? It's almost a Ghostbuster joke. Shh. Remember what he says when they're underneath? He says, I forget exactly what he says. Shh, do you smell it or something like that? I forget, but in this case it's the water. Don't you hear it in the waves? And at first you were not able to, and then you were able to barely hear the lightsabers, the engagement, which was really
That
good.
was
Go
so
ahead,
well
Darth.
produced. So well produced. I had goosebumps in that scene.
He hears the lightsabers. He hears them. He doesn't say, I hear something. I hear them. So he's in tuned, and he is in contact with the world between worlds, because that's what they've called it. That's what it is. And it was interesting. So that's the first thing. Um, we saw it at the very end of episode 4, and now we get quite a bit of it in this episode. And this was one of the scenes. This is how it is. And she recognizes Anakin. And of course, lo and behold, they get into it shortly thereafter. What is it? He says, I'm here to complete your training. So I'm going to jump ahead. The whole concept of her being a non Jedi, that's done. That's gone. She's a Jedi. Because at the very end, she says, do you want to take a look at a Jedi starship? Did you guys catch that at the very end?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
She's
it was a Jedi starship.
Yes, but she never referred to it as a Jedi starship.
Okay.
So, but that's fair. Not only that he hears them, but that he was surprised Mom couldn't right away. Oh, that's right. Very
I
good.
think he helped his mother hear them.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
Oh, really? I did not think about that. Okay.
Because he was looking at her as you got the impression she could hear it.
I mean, if you can get a guy to say something, to feel it, I guess you can get a well-known person to feel it as well. That is cool. She now
This
feels
is
she's a
not
Jedi.
your podcast, Mr. Noriega.
I am the Senate. Sorry, I've been working on that one for a little while. Didn't work as well as I thought. But
Do
anyway.
not underestimate the power.
Yes, yes. All right, I'm going to
That's
take a
the
quick
hair.
moment. Here it is, folks. Here it is. Are you able to recognize this lightsaber?
Oh.
And I'm going to turn it on.
Is that brass?
I want you to hear it. It even sounds angry.
Pull it back a little more.
Is anyone
Okay.
able to recognize this lightsaber? So I'm going to leave it there in a little bit. I'm really surprised. I thought that notch would give it away. Hello, General Grievous 19. Thank you for joining us. If you could show that comment, Michael.
Sure.
Can anyone guess which lightsaber this is? So there it is, folks. Listen to it. It sounds angry. Kind of cool. I'll come back to it a little bit later. If there are any guesses, I would love to know. And even the one that I have with Darth Sidious doesn't have that angry sound to it. It has an uppity sound to it. But okay. All right. Actually, folks, that is Darth Vader's lightsaber. This is Darth Vader. So very good, iBeamer. This is Darth Vader's. I didn't show it off in the prior weeks. This one was given to me by a coworker. I feel bad. His son obviously was screwing around, and he did something, and the coworker was like, "Yeah, you're done. Here you go, Roger." I'm like, oh, well,
I
thank
think
you.
he's right that it's the Kenobi version, which was also what not quite what was used tonight or last night.
I don't pretend to know. I just know that this is the Darth Vader lightsaber, the one that was used in the New Hope and all that stuff. So I'm not 100% certain.
The
I just
hilt's the
know that
same.
that's the Darth Vader lightsaber.
The hilt's the
So
same, but the emitter's a little different.
I've tried to use this one when it's very difficult with that little notch right there. It's kind of odd. You see how that is? And again, it's almost jury rigged because Darth Vader had to build his own lightsaber. It's not. I mean, it's a contraption. It's interesting how it has a little button. It gets in the way. It actually kind of jams your finger if you're trying to use it. But anyway, that's the Darth Vader lightsaber. So um, I
Well, the
don't
basis
know.
for that old hilt was like a flash gun from like late 60s, early 70s cameras.
Yeah. Yes. Very good. Um, in this one, uh, there was a lot going on between the two, and we can talk about it. But she says, Ahsoka tells Anakin, "You lost the fight." He says, "Wow, I don't remember." So, no, you lost. So, okay, I guess. And he says, you still remember? Then you still have a chance. I'm here to finish your training. One is never too old to learn. Snips. That was interesting because I think that was the first time it's ever been said in live action. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then we return to the surface. Astrometrics. I'm sorry, I mean the map is broken. Uh, and that's where they kind of get into it. That's where he says, "Mom, there's something about the water. Something's out there. I can feel it." And then Jason hears the lightsabers. Then Hera does. So they say, "Okay, got to go out there and take a look." So there was a lot going on in this episode. I Michael and I had a chat about this, and I don't know if he agrees with me or not, but Darth, I this wasn't enough for me. This is enough for me to set her on the course to continue to be a Jedi or to return being a Jedi. But I don't see as just very simple. Okay, you want to live? Okay, yes, I want to live. So then she pulls a Gandalf on us. She fights the enemy and she comes back. You want a trope? Darth, there is a trope right there. They use a Lord of the Rings. Gandalf comes back. But I did want to take these notes, and I want to know if you guys got anything like this. I mentioned the world between the worlds. Folks, they almost went biblical on this. And before anyone gets very angry with me, I'm going to stick with the biblical concept because in A New Hope, Darth Vader is chastised in the conference room because they say something to the effect, your adherence to that dead religion. Okay. So I'm going to focus in on that just for a little bit. There's so much imagery that when it comes to a belief system, and I mean religion as far as what you believe in, not the Latin religare. Okay. That's where religion actually comes from Latin religare, which means to be with God once again. No, I'm talking about the belief system. So they really hit the religious aspect in this episode. Why? Ahsoka was bathed in water. Did you guys catch that? She was bathed in water. She was cleansed. She was almost baptized. She was almost born again, whatever you want to call it. And when she came out, she was dressed in white after the battle with Anakin. Because remember, at first, Anakin had a blue lightsaber. Did you guys catch that? And then later on, he had a red lightsaber. I wish I would have had the image of the blue lightsaber, but I don't. But this was later. There was an image. I think here it is. Look, it happened fast. First, you see Anakin
Yeah.
with the blue lightsaber, and then you see him with the red lightsaber.
With a silhouette of Darth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she passed through a Jedi trial. Do you think she did? I don't know.
Yes. But I've got to back you up a little bit, Roger.
Oh, all right, iBeamer. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Darth. I appreciate that, but that's not all. Go ahead.
I don't think all the iconography is entirely Christian. So the water, the emerging from water, is very akin to being born from the womb. And that actually predates Christianity, part of the cleansing rituals. In the Middle Ages, bathing was a privilege, not done very often. We've got a lot of mythological references throughout Star Wars, and in particular in Ahsoka. So I didn't capture all the notes for tonight, but a lot has been reminded of me by a lot of different sources on the web. So we have the two wolves, the light wolf and the dark wolf. The wolves appear in the map. The names of the two fallen Jedi are akin to the names of the wolves in Norse mythology. One of the moons of Seatal is named Loki, and the name Seatal itself could be derived from Cetus, which is in our constellations is the constellation of the whale. So there's Greek, there's Norse, there's Christian adopted traditions. There's a lot getting pulled
If
into this,
I
and
may go
all of
back,
it is coming from the witches
if I may go
of
back to the one thing I
Dathomir.
said, I am not homing in on religion as in religare. I was going as in belief system.
Okay.
I all right. I agree with you. I it's beautiful. And thank you for pointing that out, Darth. Obviously I wasn't clear. And that's what I wanted to say. I said I'm not going to hit it as in either a Christian or a Judeo or
Okay.
Islamic or anything like that. That's why I specifically said I'm not sticking to religare, sticking to it being a belief system. So, and you are, oh my God, 100% right on the whole idea of the cleansing. That's why that was one of the first things I said, being bathed in water
Yeah.
and the
Well, it was
cleansing.
adopted for the baptism.
Yeah, and then it led to baptism or born again. So I just used that all at once. I'm sorry if it got lost on that, but I think we're on the same page. I think we are. And I think everyone is in on this one. It is not a Christian belief. Please. And if that's how it came across, hell no. That's wrong. No, no, no,
Well, it
no.
was more
That's
for the audience. A lot of people don't
and I
realize
appreciate that.
we took so much from our progenitors, and
Ooh, Star Trek season 5, Next Generation.
I'm a mythology and comparative religions geek on top of
Oh, hell
everything
yeah.
else.
Hell yeah. And I think this is great. So, in addition to that, now notice here is where it gets a little steeped in maybe this might be the only Christian aspect is that Anakin is the one that brings her back. And who was he? He was the the one that was born without a father. His birth was without a father. That might be the only connection that I could point being, but that's it. Everything else is still just belief system. But it's no accident. It is no accident that it was kind of done that way. That the one in Star Wars, that he was the chosen one, he's the one that is training her. He's there to complete the training. So it is good. And I Beamer, I appreciate that. Yes, I agree that she's not fully there yet, but she has accepted her place and role and will move forward. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think that's what I was trying to say. And what? It took me 8 minutes to say what Beamer said in one post. Oh, this was brought up on the internet. You mean he's still bringing balance to the force? Well, you tell me. There was an episode, was it in Rebels or Clone Wars, where Anakin actually was able to see the future?
Well, there
Did
was
you?
that weird episode in Clone Wars where they were
Okay.
inside the Force itself, for lack of a better metaphor. And there was the three characters, the personifications of the light, the dark, and the gray.
Yeah.
But the gray was the father, the origin of all. The children were the ones that were split. So again, there was another mythological pull into the Star Wars universe.
Yes. So it is steeped in. It's heavy on. I'm willing to say that. Yeah, I Beamer. I didn't think so, but I'm willing to say that. That yes, he is still bringing balance to the force, which is kind of interesting. The other comment was Jason hears the lightsabers clashing, and he's able to hear from the world between worlds. So those were my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major highlights of the episode. I don't know if you guys had something like that as well. What are some of the things that stood out for you gentlemen in this episode? Because there was quite a bit. Darth, you mentioned that at the very beginning.
So the flashbacks I thought were interesting. They didn't just go back willy nilly. Um, as Ahsoka was trying to figure out what was going on within the world between worlds, you know, the her initial battle with Anakin leads to an early battle of the Clone Wars. And as she starts to begin to understand, it then takes her to one of her last battles at the Siege of Mandalore. And
Yeah.
where she's a little bit more mature, she's already left the Jedi Order. And but yet she's still with Rex. She's still, there's, she's come back at this point. I don't remember, where in the series this took place, or if it was even part of the series or after. Um, but I thought the series ran right up to episode 3. We've got but in the beginning, Anakin's more part of the flashback itself, even though he's still the observer. But in the second one, he is the observer, and that's what ends up leading into the confrontation that Ahsoka's been meaning to do since they reintroduced her in Mandalorian, and that's confront Anakin's soul about Vader. And she's got every opportunity to do so. She does, and she does face Vader. Now, in my rewatch, I'm looking at this. I'm almost wondering if this was her mirror trial,
I
because
think
she
so.
did step away. She does feel anger. She was very aggressive in that fight. To the point where you almost wondered if she was being driven by anger, not towards Anakin, but towards Vader. So I'm gonna back up to what Beamer said, and that yeah, I think this was her trial. I think it's more than just training for her to have the strength to return. It's training for her to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, because there is some of that fighting in there. At the very end, she uses a line of, Okay, Ahsoka continues to fight. Then she stops. We go to the siege of Mandalore, and he says, "You are a warrior now." She says, "But I thought we were peacekeepers." Well, you have to adjust to your situation. You are now part of a legacy. This is what we are, and you are more than that. I gave you a choice, live or die. And she says, no.
No.
He says, incorrect. He says, you lack conviction. It is your time to die then. And she says, I choose to live. And he says, there is hope for you yet. So
Yeah,
now,
thanks for putting that one up. That one, yeah, definitely.
okay, before we get to that, folks, in the flashbacks, didn't Ahsoka hold a lightsaber like this? Wasn't this her move? In the flashback, the young Ahsoka held it like, I guess, a standard, as opposed to having it the way Ahsoka held it in the Clone Wars. Did they mess up on that? I need a little bit of help on that. Did you guys notice in the flashback scenes, Ahsoka was holding the lightsaber as the conventional Jedi do? In the Clone Wars, Ahsoka held it like this, remember? Was that a
I
mistake
did
or was that
read
done
something.
properly?
I was reading something about that, and she switches up her styles a lot, and she did in the
Okay.
cartoon, and she did in the episode of Mandalorian season 2, episode 5, chapter 13, The Jedi, when they
Oh,
reintroduced
wow.
her. I rewatched it last night. Um,
Good man.
so her style is adaptive.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
She thinks on her feet. She does what works.
She's
Okay.
not a traditional Jedi, and I guess
That
maybe
too.
you'd say, just like
Yeah,
she's not.
like in her fight with Balin. I mean, Balin had a very heavy. Somebody online mentioned it was knight-like style, whereas Ahsoka's is more fluid and almost oriental.
We have flashed it twice. We didn't read it. Ahsoka had a moment of her eyes reflecting, changing. The potential is there, a part of her, because Anakin is a part of her. She chose different. Yeah. Yes. Now
That's
it
why I
was
thought it was her mirror trial.
okay. I like that. Now, one thing I didn't like about the episode, and I'm going to jump a little bit, is I knew that Carson was going to mention something about the fuel, and not 5 seconds later he says, "Why we're getting a little on." All of a sudden, ever since the Last Jedi, fuel comes into place. And then there was another thing where I thought it was Hera that was going to pull her out of the water. Instead, it was one of the X-wing pilots. That was interesting.
Yeah, that there was. I'm like, when I rewatched that, I'm like, what the heck's going on? How did they get from the X-wing to the Ghost? Or was she doing it from the X-wing? But so that was a little screwy to me, continuity wise. Not to mention, I thought three of the 5 X-wings were destroyed.
No, two out of five were.
Yeah, two of them instantly like collided.
Yeah,
Okay, so maybe the way that they showed it, it looked like three.
I had to
blew up.
see it the second time to make sure because I was thinking the same thing, and then it was two that were destroyed.
Okay, so on a different
Elizabeth,
note,
please,
I
yeah, read
don't
that one.
think it was a weakness for Sabine to follow Balin. I think she intentionally did that to look for Ezra. I think she was using Ezra's trick from Rebels to find the other world. She intentionally followed to find Ezra. Yes, Elizabeth. When I rewatched episodes 1 through 4 last night, I got the same impression.
Alan, iBeamer, did you guys get that? I did not, because I actually did a rewatch of again of 1 and 4, coincidentally enough.
These are awesome binged, by the way. The flow of one to the other. I mean, Obi-Wan definitely was better binged than trying to watch them one at a time, week to week. But these are awesome binged. So I mean, if you're not rewatching them right away, um, definitely the first 4 all together make a great arc.
Okay, look at that. iBeamer, yep. And Alan, I caught it too. Wow. All right, boys, men, way to go. I caught that earlier, Darth. Yeah, men. You're right. I did not right away catch that. I'm glad you guys made that clear. Michael, what are some of the I know you don't have very notes, but you did see it. Tell me, what are some of the things that you still? Oh, see, here we go. Alan says she did it not so much as a moment of weakness, but with purpose. See, okay, you guys caught that. Michael, did you? I did not.
No, I
I
didn't. No.
thought, and I mean, look, she didn't take her armor. I mean, she didn't take her helmet. She didn't take her lightsaber. She didn't take her gun. Okay, that's supreme confidence. I mean, she is still wearing most of her uniform, but I mean, nothing personal. If I'm them, the minute you get her on the ship, you take all that armor off, you remove it, and
She's
Get
on a
comfy.
she's a thinker on her feet,
no
right? One of the things I also did is I rewatched the very last episode of Rebels, and
cheater.
she, it reminded me that she goes with the flow. When Ezra went to leave, she didn't know he was going to leave yet, but she knew that he had a different plan in mind, and she needed to support him in that. So it reinforced that her action in the last episode and Ahsoka's development as an adult show how these two characters actually should be together, and that both of them are atypical. They think on their feet. They're creative. They're multi-talented, and yeah, I'm gonna say when the first plan failed, she thought of a way to recover it. Excuse me.
Yeah, early on when it was in the teaser aspect of the episode, Hera finds Hu Yang, and he is for a droid. He looks depressed. I know, it's a droid. But he says, I told them to stay together, but they never listen. They never listen. He repeated it. It was interesting that the droid did that.
Well, probably because it's happened before. He's told them, "Don't do this," and they don't listen. So I'm sure it was happened before.
I
I
mean,
can't remember it happening before, but it probably did.
that droid's
He's
got to
been
be
around
sentient.
he's been around a long time,
Yeah, what was it, like 800 years?
or something
Almost
outlandish.
as
Yeah,
long as Yoda, man.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, in the battle, Anakin really pulls a move on Ahsoka when he breaks the ramp and she falls, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's where they go to the first Clone Wars flashback, and we see Ahsoka as young again. Which I have to tell you, the young lady that they found to play the young Ahsoka, wow! I got the Ahsoka feel right there. That young
She's
lady.
she's talented. She played young Gamora in one of the Avengers movies.
That same one? Oh my
Yep, and she
goodness.
was on a sitcom on the Disney Channel, and was highly regarded for her character.
Hu Yang reminds me a lot of C-3PO in that he shows a lot of emotion despite being a droid. Beamer also says, I can see why you would feel the other, but taking her history or personality into account, it feels intentional. Okay. I like it. So you guys are all on the same page. I think Michael and I are just like,
Clueless.
damn it. Well, we missed that, obviously. Yeah, I think we are clueless, at least on that
I
one.
really started analyzing that just because it I don't know. I just had so much trouble with here's the plan. The plan is really high risk. There's no spoken backup plan. They were warned to stay together. They didn't. So, I mean, I was really scrutinizing that when I rewatched it the other night. And there's no way Sabine, for all she's been through, would capitulate to Balin like that if she didn't have something in mind.
Okay.
It would
Fair
be
enough.
inconsistent, and the screenwriters, the showrunners, they know this about that character.
And let me tell you, looking back to, I mean, this has all been building and building and building. This is not something that they just made up. It goes back to Clone Wars, it goes back to Rebels, and it, the Resistance, the 2-year cartoon, which I've not had a chance to see, Star Wars Resistance, which I have to go see. Now, in the training, when they fall into the Clone Wars, he makes it clear to her, this is your training. And she says, I don't understand. And he says, that's your problem. Says, come on, Snips, the battle's not over yet. More droids are approaching. And kind of a little bit later, she says, we lost so many. He says, there's always a price. He says, yes, but we lost so many. He says, as Jedi, it is our job to lead. And then she says, what if I stop fighting? Then you'll die. That's what he said to her. And then, of course, the whole thing on press on fuel reserves. I just came anyway. What was it like? Blah, blah, blah. And then Ahsoka continues to fight, then stops the siege of Mandalore. You're a warrior now. Okay, I already did that part. And then Ahsoka smirks a little bit. Then she's floating. And it was after there is hope for you yet. And then she's floating in the water and she comes up. So in all fairness, not a lot of people have seen Resistance.
I couldn't get into it, Alan.
Yeah, I didn't. I was trying to get my daughter, Alan, I was trying to get Gmo in on it. He wouldn't bite. She's into anime, but she would not bite. So, let me see. Ahsoka's floating. It was the X-Wing pilot. Because I wrote in my notes, the ghost finds her, and then I crossed it out, the X-Wing pilot, which I was like, ooh, I thought it was Hera that did.
Yeah, but they
And
pulled her onto
right.
the loading ramp.
Well,
Yes.
it was obviously right there,
Yeah.
so.
So I guess the X-Wing pilot was on the ghost, it looked like. And,
The
of
other
course,
thing
this.
that
Oh,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry, Roger.
No, go ahead.
Before we move too far forward, the other thing I couldn't figure out, and I even backed up over it several times, how did Ahsoka disarm Anakin? You
Yeah,
didn't
that did
see their
surprise.
hands on screen. It's like there was like a little bit of a parry, and then Ahsoka had Anakin's saber.
You analyze too closely.
And I got mad. Sorry when that happened. It's like, oh, come on, man. It's Darth Vader. He badass. He got taken by his Padawan. I just got mad. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I didn't really give it much thought. I thought of looking at it later, and I didn't get a second time to see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, they glossed over the disarming part. I was disappointed in that. Beamer, you're the better person because I just got mad. I'm old. I didn't like that
I'm
part.
older than you are.
But you're not mad.
No, I wanted to understand it. I wanted
Oh, I did
to
too, but I still threw a
see the
tantrum.
choreography.
Yeah. I guess where I left off in the episode, I was watching a third time. It is the first time that I get around to seeing an episode a third time, and I just ran out of time, of course,
There
because
was
it
so
ran.
much to look for in this one.
Yes, but I was lucky. I took my notes the first time around. I told Michael I was going to take a look at it, then I'll watch it again and take the notes. No, I watch it the first time and take notes. It's just that's
I
my
need to
habit
start
now.
doing that.
Oh, you're all right, man. It's okay. It's just I do so that we can go over the stuff. And if we have to go back to something, I have my notes. That's the only reason why I do it. Michael and I did a review program about 2, 3 years ago, and we were like, "Oh wait, we kept trying to go over. Like, I'm gonna take notes next time. I've been taking
Oh,
notes
I've
ever since.
got notes.
I believe you do. I wasn't questioning your note-taking ability. I questioned
They're just
Lothcat.
not as thorough.
Yeah, Lothcat. Where are your notes, huh? Come on, on a different note. Come on. Let me see what you got, woman. Talking about your notes. So, um, jumping a little bit ahead, they get excited because they got her, Chop. I thought that was kind of cool. Ahsoka comes to, and Hu Yang welcomes her back. And I owe you my thanks. And they ask, who were you fighting? I think it was Jason, right? That asked her that, or was it Hera? I will only take notes on a second run through. I don't know what that means. So I guess she's only seen it once. Going back to Anakin's change from blue to red. Did you see he changed form styles when he went to the red?
That and his posture.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I remembered Anakin from the movie where he had his fighting style, and then when he became Darth Vader, it was a bit different. I think I did catch a little bit of that. Thank you. Jason said it. Okay, because he heard. That's where the line was inside a Jedi. Because she didn't answer. She didn't answer him, but she said, "Want to see the inside of a Jedi starship?" I was like, "I say, come on, our little kid, you want some candy?" But just kidding. What was it? Was it a memory impression? Because she was able to get a feeling for what had happened. What was that called? She was able to see what Sabine went through, and she found out what happened. We basically got to see the end of episode 4 again.
Yeah, she there was an imprint on the destroyed map thingy.
Okay. And they said they took her with them, so she's alive. Well, it's not that simple. Then, of course, they say the fleet is on its way, and then we see the whales.
There
Your
be
thought?
whales.
That's exactly what I
know.
thought, Michael. When I yelled out at the screen, Admiral, there be whales here.
I was gonna post something about watch as we talk about the one with the whales. No, not
Yes.
Star Trek 4.
Yeah, of course. I did like the way Ahsoka said, "Oh, wait a minute. No, help me out on this, guys. Was it Ahsoka or was it Hera? Oh, I think it was. Well, who said this? I don't know how to score this, but we're losing right now. That was Hera, huh?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Hera said that.
Yeah, I kind of rushed through the second half of the episode. So
And then, of course, when Ahsoka was making contact with the whales, that's when I said there'd be whales here. And I envisioned Spock, making contact with the whales. I really thought that's what it was. So it was
Well,
Hera.
didn't she put her
Thank you,
hand
IPD.
out when she was
Yeah.
trying to?
Yeah, she was trying to make contact with them. We Star Trek fans easily will make fun of that by saying that was Spock in the whale tank with the whales. So I'm just being stupid when I say that. But Carson stalls. He's trying to get the fleet. He says, "Look, I'm going to bring you up on charges, dude." Says, "But you're not going to believe me." And all the while we're seeing everything happen, Carson's explaining everything to the commander of the fleet.
Oh, that was
Did
awesome.
you guys catch that? He said, "Well, you're not going to believe me." Then we see all the other stuff happen, and then he's like, "So there." I actually thought that was kind of funny. That was a good story. I don't want to say trope, but that was funny. That
That was
was the
one of the
writer
nice.
having fun with us.
It was one of the nicer points. It wasn't consistent with like older Star Wars, but it's very consistent with the new Star Wars and the Carson character.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was a nice update to the way Star Wars is presented. To have we had Han Solo with the whole thing with we're okay here, we're all fine now. How are you? And now we've got like Carson like, she's not done with her mission.
Yeah. I couldn't
Yeah,
get
it
a
was pretty good.
great image. I could not get a good image, folks.
These were hard scenes to screen cap. I was actually wanted to use one of these as my background.
Yeah, they were very difficult, folks.
There was a
Alan
lot of
says,
cuts back and forth. Um, but I mean, every time they've shown the Purgle in this series, it is,
yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
tough.
It just makes me feel so. I love animals, and it just makes me feel so warm how well they captured the cartoon without making it look like a cartoon.
Yeah. I commented Ahsoka in the whale after the mind meld. And then Huang says, where are we going? I don't know where. I said, what do you mean you don't know where? I said, well, better than going nowhere. So I was like, okay, I guess they have faith. And it's that religious aspect thing. They have faith. So evasive maneuvers, let's get out of their way. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was good. And then proceeds to go through them. Yeah. I didn't see the evasive maneuvers.
I love those frigates too, by the way.
Yeah, they do look good. And we can see how that ship design ends up in episode 8, The Last Jedi, the Admiral Raddus, or the Raddus, the name of the ship. I can see how they get to that design.
Well,
So,
it looked like a nice like humanization of a calamari design, I guess.
yeah.
It gave the symmetry of like the medical frigate to the rounded organic shapes of the calamari cruisers.
The episode ended where she says, I'll find them. I promise. And then we get one of the few moments where it really meant something. May the force be with you. It felt a little bit like The Empire Strikes Back at the very end, where Lando and Chewbacca are on their way to find Han Solo. I'm not going to say there's symmetry, but it rhymed a little bit. I
Oh yeah.
did get that feeling. I don't know, iBeamer, if that's what you were mentioning earlier about the feels, but you've covered quite a bit here tonight. Give us your thoughts, please. And folks, if anyone wants to join us tonight live, let us know. We'd like to hear your comments, and we can go ahead and bring you on if you. Oh, I like that, Roger. You know what? I just listened to George Lucas. He himself said, "There's there. It rhymes. The color schemes, they go together. You see a little bit here, a little bit there. It flows like the whole concept of the crawl, and then every episode in the George Lucas era began with a ship going someplace. They all have these things, kind of like in Back to the Future. And forgive me a moment, guys. Remember that in every Back to the Future episode, Marty wakes up to his mom. Okay, that's in all three movies. In the three movies, they have the whole incident around Park Square, right? Remember the manures, something like that. There are themes that go that always happen, and it rhymes. There's symmetry, I guess. So, I appreciate that, iBeamer. Thank you for that comment. I'm glad. So, what are your comments? We went through this episode very fast.
Mm-hmm.
But we covered quite a bit. We didn't go beat by beat. Actually, I think we kind of did still.
Kind of did.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still kind of did, but we moved quicker because I maybe it was my fault. I emphasized my points and then I only confirmed with you gentlemen. What else did you guys want to add in the chat room? And let me see. Yeah. Um, iBeamer, Alan. I know Alan, I think, is working. Elizabeth, guys want to join us live? Let me know. I'm going to put it in right here, right now. Okay. So if you guys want, you can cut and paste this. It's
I'm
going to
I'm
show up.
going I'm going back through my notes here. Okay, so going way back up, I've got a note that Anakin's face looked a lot better in motion.
Darth, may I interrupt you
Sorry.
for a moment? If you want to join us, you don't have to go with video. Obviously, you have to access your mic. We don't if you don't feel up to showing yourself, we're good with it. Guys, don't worry about that. But if you want to come in and have a conversation with us, follow that code. But you don't have to click on video option. I'm sorry, Darth. Please continue. Sorry, buddy.
Hayden Christensen, the de-aging looked a lot better in
Yeah.
action, in motion, than it did at the end of the last episode. You, one of the things that seemed to be missing initially was his scar, but as he moved in the shadow, you could see he did have the scar.
Oh, he did. I did not.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to that because I thought this was just the afterlife Anakin, where in the afterlife everything gets better. But did he still have the
Um,
robotic arm in the afterlife, or did he have a real arm?
I didn't pick up on that, but he might have
Okay, I
had a
guess we're gonna have to go back and
gloves
look.
on both hands. I don't know.
Okay.
I see. I was trying to look for like how he got disarmed, and then I'm like, did she take his whole hand?
Well, I guess she wouldn't be the first.
um,
She won't be the last.
but I thought the de-aging looked really good. He looked even better in the earlier Clone Wars flashback when he actually looked like General Skywalker.
Yeah.
The armor. Oh my god, the costuming on this show, just like, oh, love it. And I actually picked up on one thing that they didn't really have in the original series or the sequels or prequels much was the armor. And I noticed Balin had the gauntlets with the electronics. Ahsoka has gauntlets with electronics. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because they really didn't start doing that until the cartoons. And they've carried it into this series that, Balin and his Padawan have the armor. So that was a really neat observation.
That's another observation, huh, Michael? He got us
I
on that one.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I know what you mean. Yes, no, you're right, Darth. But what I mean is I didn't see that. I was like, good call.
So the other thing I was watching is the last episode of Rebels, as I mentioned earlier. The very last scenes of Rebels is a flash forward to after the Battle of Endor. And one of the scenes, it's a little bit different, but the very last scene was almost recreated for the very last scene of the second episode of Ahsoka, where Sabine has her haircut and she's at the wall. And it's like, I had known that felt familiar, but I didn't really remember Rebels because I hadn't rewatched it at all since it originally aired. Well, actually, since I had gotten the DVDs for the last season, because I didn't see the last season until I got the DVDs for it. And I thought, it's like, that's really clever. But the biggest difference was that Ahsoka had the white robe in the cartoon in that scene, but she had the gray robe in the live action at the end of episode 2. And she didn't have a staff like she did in Rebels either. So they did a little bit different, and I wonder if that's because they wanted to put her in white for that Gandalf thing that you had mentioned when she returns from her battle with the Balrog. I mean, with Anakin. I mean, with Vader.
That's even better than when I do it, dude. I mean, even Michael's chuckling at that one, dude. That was very well done. That was even better than when I do that one. Look, but there is
I was
also,
rehearsing during work today while I was
it
reading
doesn't matter.
emails.
It was still well done. Okay, look. Um, it was pointed out to me that that was a a Lord of the Rings moment. Yes, but it's not only Lord of the Rings. That's the one that we recognize the most, and that's how I was sarcastic when I said that. But if you look in mythology, white represents victory, justice, purity, coming back. There's a lot to it. So it's not only the Lord of the Rings, it's just the most recent thing that we've seen that he
Did
went
they
from
do that at the
gray
end
to
of
white.
Dante?
I'm sorry?
The Dante Dante's Inferno thing, the
Yeah.
opera. Does he when he's done? Does he come back in white?
I think he does, but it's been such a while now. I've got to
Oh my
reread
god, that was
Dante's
like high
Inferno.
school.
They
Yes.
do it. They do it in Battlestar Galactica too. So
Well, that yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
when Starbuck went to the world between worlds,
Oh, that's funny.
heaven. So, but yeah, I think last week I even referred to it as Sheol or
Yeah.
purgatory.
Yeah, and folks, if we use this biblical, whether it be Judeo-Christian or however, it's just that we're sharing the thoughts. It's not that we believe Star Wars has something. No, 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 no. It's how we're trying to describe something. Just keep that in mind. That's all. And when you use that, Darth, I kind of thought it was a comparison. That's all it was.
Well, I mean the word. I mean we have modern words because of 2,000 years of Christianity and three to 4,000 years of Judaism. We have these words,
Yeah.
but the ideas go back much further.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Uh,
Egyptians and the Greeks only had one afterlife.
yeah. That's so true. What else,
mm.
Michael? What were your thoughts on this?
That's about all I've got, honestly.
Okay, fair enough. Greg, what else? We
Um,
actually covered a lot, man.
the dialogue in this was amazing. I mean, this was
Yeah.
a much better bridge episode than episode 3.
I would probably, I don't know if this, well, I mean, in effect, she was on a bridge. When you stepped away, Darth, I commented to the senator that we had the scene where, out of nowhere, Anakin cuts the bridge and she falls into the Clone Wars. That was kind of funny. I was not expecting that. The celestial bridge had been cut. That was kind of funny. But
Sound and music in this one again continues to impress me. Um,
yeah, I did not
as the
hear it the first time. That's a good
as the
job.
floor was become I have a note as the floor was becomes water. So when I watched it the second time, I had the headphones on. As
Yeah.
the floor becomes water, you can barely hear thunder or
Yes.
waves against rocks.
Yes. It was very difficult. I did go back because on a personal note, folks, oh, forgive me a moment. I'm going to have to
That's the
put on
personal
snooze.
note.
On a personal note, that was perfect. I have to take my
Tiempo
pharmaceuticals.
por
Yeah, I'm
drive
gonna
the
have to
doors.
run inside real quick because I forgot them out here. But what was I gonna tell you? Ah, lost my train of thought. Damn it! What a shock. What were you talking about right now, Darth? Oh, the
Sound.
music, right? The sound.
Seriously,
Yeah, it's gone.
folks,
It's gone.
if you can, listen to this in surround sound or with 7.1 headphones. The
Oh,
sound in this is amazing. And the sound in the last I have to go back and rewatch season 1 of Strange New Worlds. The sound in season 2 of Strange New Worlds. They do so much in surround sound now to take advantage of the modern technology. Um, my rooms aren't big enough for theater audio, but you know the modern digital audio. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, I have it on the TV that's in here in my office. I do have that sound. I don't have it in my room,
Ooh,
and
excuse me.
I think I've told everyone that I genuinely do. I've noticed, and forgive me if the TMI, but a lot of people have suggested, well, why do I wear a headset? Well, I wear a headset because it actually does cover up that I'm having quite a bit of difficulty hearing on this side. Forgive me, a little bit of TMI. When I'm on my left side and the TV's over there, it's muffled. When I'm on my right side, I hear everything. It's like, oh my God, I'm going deaf. And because of where I sat in the office when I was moved in the last few years, I was near the auto shop, the repair portion, and all the loud banging and my ear was to the shop, and I've noticed this. So, but iBeamer, forgive me, Darth. Oh, the feels. I loved Anakin's scenes. Now, folks, before I get even further, I want to go to the very, very beginning, way before. Assuming I'm able to join, I'm looking forward to this. I have thoughts and feels.
Oh,
So
well,
that
go
was,
back and grab the link. Come on in.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said he was kind of working, so
Well,
yeah.
I
Oh, all
understand that,
right.
but he said he had to take a call before I put the link out there. So there it is again. If you can, there's the link. Join us, and there it is. Anyone, Alan, Elizabeth,
And again,
iBeamer.
you don't have to be on video. I
Yeah,
mean,
don't have to be on
I'm
video.
lucky that the background works good for me because this room is a disaster area right now.
Oh, mine's worse. Take my word for it.
So he says, "All the feels I loved Anakin scenes. I felt Hayden was a better fit for the version of younger Anakin." Yeah, he was away, Greg, when you commented about that and how he comes
Yeah,
across in the Kenobi flashbacks.
definitely. But also,
Not that I
Hayden's
didn't enjoy that.
matured as an actor too, and we don't really know how much of his performance in episodes 2 and 3 were direction
It
versus
was all
performance.
direction. Have you seen him in other stuff? He's a thespian. He's done
Yeah,
other stuff.
he's usually in stuff that doesn't trip my trigger, but
But he's worked in a lot of other stuff, and he's
yeah,
done what he's done. iBeamer says, I felt more at ease in the role again, you could say. You know, when I saw Anakin at the end of episode 4, I'm not going to say my heart skipped a beat, but it was important to see Anakin with Ahsoka because I saw the Clone Wars, and it was a big deal. This
he
was
was
important.
he was really good
Yes.
in Kenobi too. Even though we only got to see a facial performance from him very briefly, um, he he's redeeming the character.
Oh my God, iBeamer. I'm going to get to your comment in just a moment. Alan says, when I rewatched it, I had the audio playing on my sound bar, and it was awesome. The subwoofer when the Ahsoka and Anakin were fighting had some really good bass to it. Would you read this
Thanks.
next comment, Darth?
The whole thing of him being there to help Ahsoka come to terms with her genealogy of what he has taught her, what Obi-Wan taught him, etc. Oh, this goes back to the feels, definitely.
Yeah.
And it really made me think because at the end of episode 9,
Oh,
we had, you know, Rey being, I am all the Jedi. And, I got, going back to like Roger's comment about mind melds earlier, it's like, do they impart part of their spirit onto them as part of the training? We know that the Force allows for a mental and emotional connection between characters. That share it. The bond between a Padawan and their master, you know, always seemed to be like the platonic master, teacher and student relationship. But I wonder, based on just the dialogue tonight, is it deeper? Is there more of a Kotrick connection?
well,
Um,
Rogue One. Sorry, Darth. I am one with the Force is one with me. And then at the very end, where he says, do not be sad. To find me, just look to the Force, and you will find me there. I'm paraphrasing Chirrup Inway.
Oh, I love Chirrup's character.
Oh my goodness, I think he was my favorite.
He
Yeah,
was. He was mine.
yeah. In Rogue One, I get emotional. I got
Actually, I
ambushed.
loved all the characters. That was just such a well put together film.
Yeah, far from perfect, folks. Have no illusion. People think that I think that's the greatest. No, it's not. That movie has issues, but it's good enough for me. It is good enough for me. It's a good story. I've never said it's the greatest story. It's just Rogue One. I
It was
get the
it was
feels.
it was it was awesome.
Yeah, I do. I get the feels. Folks, growing up, I mean, I was like every other kid growing up. We were Darth Vader. We were the Empire. We were, and I think older in things in life, I'm a rebel. And when the rebels were being chewed up by Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One, I was horrified. I Yes, the 8-year-old in me, when I made the connection with my 8-year-old, that was the Darth Vader that we all dreamed of. I am not that 8-year-old anymore. I am who I am, and I am more of a rebel. And seeing the rebels get butchered by Vader, I was horrified.
There's a fan
Although it's
clip
a great
out
scene.
there.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Don't get me wrong, but yes.
There's a fan clip out there where they redid the Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi battle from the end of New Hope
Yeah.
as a much more aggressive battle. Oh my god.
Oh,
For
I don't.
something that's put together by fans or a fan, um, we'll have to find that link to that and get it into our comments for this episode. But um, the deep fake on Kenobi's face, meh. But oh my god, the choreography of it. I don't know if it's performance or CG or a lot of both. Oh my god, that was amazing. It's like it was, looking back at the original movies with everything that's come after it, and you've got, as badass as Vader was at the end of Rogue One, it's like he kind of seemed a little stiff in the original film.
Oh yeah, yeah. It just is, and it was the whole different concept. Um, George Lucas said we see the Jedi in full flower in episodes 1, 2, and 3. In episodes 4, 5, and 6, if I remember correctly, Luke and Obi, they were told that you are holding heavy instruments. They're difficult to use and manipulate because they're not Jedi. They don't know how to use this weapon. So in as the Jedi of old did. So it's just as the series progresses. Elizabeth is telling me to do something. The answer is no. My sympathies are with the rebels. I am who I am. Nothing will ever
You can
change.
be sympathetic towards your enemy.
Yeah, I am. I'm sympathetic towards the rebels, but I am who I am. I know. That's Popeye
Up by the
1980.
Sailor Man.
Ah, very good. Very good, both of us. Sorry. I
Yingy,
am what
yingy.
I am. That's all that I am. I'm not going to sing. I just,
I'm
Too
out
oh,
of
much,
damn.
beverage.
too
Everyone just
much
left.
spinach.
Yeah, we lost the audience. The
Pretty
moment I
much,
started
yeah.
to sing, everyone took off. Oh, my goodness.
So
So,
in the last episode of Popeye, 40 years ago, or 40, 50, 60
Oh,
years ago,
well,
I
no,
guess.
because they had a movie.
Oh, the Robin Williams movie? Hmm.
all right,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we're getting, actually, hold on one moment. Yes, transporter room. Oh, we're getting someone coming aboard right now. I had to bastardize the universe.
What else is new?
Good evening,
Hey!
iBeamer. Thank you for joining us, buddy. I
Good to
appreciate it.
meet you, sir.
Hello, hello. I can't stay too long.
I
Right.
know you're at work, buddy, but thank you. All right, tell us. Give us your thoughts. Talk to us, buddy. Yeah, I know, huh? I put you on the spot right then and there.
He does that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me mute the other one over here. There
Oh,
we go.
sure.
Because then I was hearing you, but then I heard
Oh.
the echo from a minute later.
Yeah, I sorry. That sucks.
So hey, I mean, so much there. Um, just the whole thing with what they're trying to what I feel that they're trying to do as far as hey, let's redeem. Not only are we redeeming, we're working on this redeeming Anakin, like you said, through these flashbacks and through this experience here. Hayden gets a chance to redeem them or redeem that character, but bringing Ahsoka along with him, like we were talking about, bringing that closure to her arc that she is back on that path of the Jedi now. And I love that the whole thing, that her accepting I am a part of you just as much as Obi-Wan is a part of me. And like I was saying there, and her, that scene when as they're finishing that fight and she's holding that saber and you see her eyes start to kind of turn, and then she throws the saber away and says, I choose to live. And she makes that choice that, and kind of like I said, accepting and moving forward, um, was just phenomenally written and executed there. So
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Beamer. I choose to live, and then Anakin says, "There is hope for you yet." Yeah, yeah. I did. I quoted that one. That was very important, and I appreciate your insight, Beamer. And folks, that's why we do this whole thing, because we see what we see, and it's not a Popeye reference. So we see what we see, but someone else will catch what we are missing, and it comes together. Um, My Darth referred to this as a bridge episode. I don't think it is a bridge episode, and I want to be a bit argumentative. And Michael and Beamer, uh, tell me what you think about this, because episode 7 of Andor was a bridge episode. We went from one place to another, and we had to move forward. So in this one, this was almost a stepping stone. This had to happen for her to go and take the enemy on. This was both, all of you mentioned this was a character thing. That's why I don't think it's just a simple step. This is a big deal. We're always talking about character development. This was important. I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree with that. And again, at Darth, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Oh
I would
no,
say it's a little bit more than a bridge episode. This is
it was more than a bridge episode. I mean, I only meant it was a bridge episode in the sense that there were bridges in it, and that it's
there was a
paused
bridge, yeah.
to pause for the rescue, Ahsoka's development, like we had the pause for Sabine's development a few weeks ago, and that um, you know the beginning to the end didn't advance the story much, except in the second act when they got the whales. It was
but
a longer episode, so they did a little bit better than episode 3, but we did not get to Peridia tonight.
Oh,
This week.
no,
and
but I think it was I think it was an important step for that though, because
was.
she had to be ready to be able to face whatever she's coming. I think whatever she has coming.
That's fair.
now, guys, and sorry, Elizabeth, everyone, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm old, so I use a lot of those things. Did this episode feel like 46 minutes? To me,
No.
not even close. It moved. Michael,
No, it did not.
it moved fast, didn't it?
Yes.
I wasn't worried about the time either. It's like, oh wow, this was a good episode. Michael and I
It was an
spoke a
awesome
little bit
episode.
earlier, and I
Don't get me
just
wrong.
thought my negative comment would be, if this was a full redemption, no, it doesn't work. But I appreciate, Beamer, what you said, Elizabeth, Michael, and Darth. This was a necessary step that had to be putting her on the track to move forward. because I told Michael I was severely disappointed. If this is what's going to yank her back and set everything right and make her the all-powerful Jedi, this was a failure. So I misinterpreted that. And everyone's comment has brought that to me, and I appreciate that.
Well, I have to post something, Roger, because Greg had to explain something in the chat room. But I just want to show a picture,
Okay.
just so they know what this is. This is Popeye.
Alan doesn't know Popeye?
No.
Baloney.
This is for Alan.
This
And the
is for
sad thing is
Alan.
that all four of us, Elizabeth included, 5 of us, we could all sing that song without even batting an eye. But again, we lose the whole audience if we start singing.
Well, we would, and so it's better. That's why I put the picture up instead of singing the whole chorus. So,
Beamer, you mentioned that this episode was a really good episode for you. Other than your comments, what else did you not add right now? What else did it for you? What was the scene? Okay, let me be pedantic. What was your favorite moment in the episode? That we haven't discussed. I know. Hi, I'm Roger. Have we met? You've only had one episode of warning.
To me, the best part, the climax of the episode, and I think it was intentionally meant this way, is that final last bout between her and Anakin, and that whole scene with the red lightsaber. Everything's there showing his final, when he said, "That's it, you have to die," and he, like I said, he changes forms. He gives to the heavy-handed swings,
right,
and goes everything all out. She still disarms him, and he steps back. And when I choose life, and he steps back and takes a minute to collect himself, and his eyes change back. That whole thing was phenomenal. That was what made it for me. I mean, I loved everything in it, but that's where I was like, this is it.
Wow, I appreciate that, Beamer. Darth, Michael.
All right, Michael shrugs. So,
yes, he does that.
There's a lot of debate as to whether or not Balin and his apprentice are gray, fallen, rogue Jedi. I really think Filoni's moving towards the gray here. I don't think Anakin has entirely given up Vader. I think it wasn't. I don't think it was just a lesson for Ahsoka. Well, in a way, I think it was a lesson for Ahsoka. But I really think they're moving towards this. There's supposedly a new Rey Skywalker movie in the works on the drafting boards. Luke's last words were, "It's time for the Jedi to die." Rey's got all the old texts that predate the division between the Jedi and the Sith. Balin is after power, but is he necessarily after Thrawn?
No. Oh, sorry, I jumped in on that one.
No,
I've been talking about this from episode 2, folks.
Yeah.
The little rat dog is making his presence felt. I believe in this other galaxy, we're going to find not necessarily, here we go, biblical stuff, but where the Force really is. We're going to find where it came from. And that's what Balin is talking about. He's talking about like where the Force started. Something like, I know that's way out there. It's metaphysical and stuff, but it's an actual manifestation of the true Force. And that's
there's also the Massassi.
I'm sorry?
The Massassi, the temple on Yavin 4. I mean, there's a lot starting to pull together. There was a really good online analysis of the map. So I knew somebody had taken all the time to decipher it, and they stepped through all the planets, and Yavin was one of the planets. So we also know that Lucas is involved as a consultant.
Yeah, isn't that great?
So how much of what Lucas, or how much of the Star Wars is going to come into play? How much of all these ideas they've adapted two of Timothy Zahn's characters now? They're carrying over Thrawn. Jason was the name of one of the Skywalker children in the Zahn
Yeah.
books. Um, you know, the in between years when all we had was the fiction, and there's a lot coming into play here, and I don't know if this is a redirection, but I think this new universe or the new galaxy is going to be a way to tell a whole new Star Wars story,
Yeah.
and maybe even set up what episode 10 could be about.
Michael, I apologize. I know you're not feeling well. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're sticking it out with us. You're a warrior. You are a Jedi. I beamer. It looked like you wanted to say something a moment ago.
I was. I do. I was. I was going to say something. No, I was thinking. I was about Balin's skull. And while we're on this topic of redemption, I think he is looking for some sort of redemption. Some, whether I don't think he knows exactly what it is. I think he lost faith. He's looking for power, like you said. I think it's tied very much to Anakin. In my head here, in my head canon, this is where this is going, and that he is along this path. He's hoping to find some sort of redemption. Maybe, like you said, if he's looking for that stronger power, maybe some sort of redemption overall for the Jedi, whatever. I don't know, but I think that's where he's headed. Like you said, I don't think he's there for Thrawn. He's got something else in mind.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that until you let me know that the first time, and I was like, yeah, I don't think he's looking for Thrawn. It's a means to an end. They spoke about it in episode 3, I think it was, where Shin asks Ben, "What is it in for? What is this for them? It's war, blah blah blah, power, and for us, something that's way beyond." I would. Oh, I may have my notes right now. Ooh, sorry. It's gonna take me a
So,
moment to get them.
gentlemen, I
But
don't know how much longer you're going to be on. I do have to split for a little bit. Once I get home, if you're still on, I might rejoin you. But
Thank you for
thank you so
dropping
much.
in.
oh yes, I Beamer. First of all, I want to thank you. Look, you want to join us next week? You're in. Seriously,
I'm
you're
certainly
in.
try. It happens to it's my last hour of work,
Yeah.
and I tend to be a little bit slower, so I can participate. But I didn't want to jump on a live. I didn't want to use work for a live stream until I clocked out.
Understood. Yes.
So
But get home. That's the best
Respectable.
thing. I don't think we're gonna be because I think we're
No.
gonna be done. Yeah.
Well, before he goes, maybe he should tell what he rates it
Oh,
A
I'm
to
gonna.
E.
Yes, young man. I need your
Or F.
rating.
this one was a solid A, possibly A plus for me. This one was
Ooh.
fantastic.
Okay. A,
Thank you, sir.
possibly A plus. Okay. And if you want to hang around while we give our grades, Darth, what is it? Otherwise,
Um,
no, you're good, man.
mine's an A minus.
Darth A minus. Michael, what is yours?
B plus.
Michael is B plus. Elizabeth and Alan. Um, I'm I I'm gonna give it an A minus. Roger gives it an A minus. I'm gonna see. Sorry, Elizabeth. Oh yeah, she says she thinks he's a gray. We're gonna be talking about that next week. I guess you'll see what the scores are a little bit later, but you're more than welcome. iBeamer, you know how to do it. We'll put the invite in again. Thank you. I appreciated your comment 2.5 hours before it even went live. It was the first comment that I posted. So it was good. I
So
appreciate it, young man.
Elizabeth, you're staying with the A.
I have
Oh,
everyone.
she
I
did.
actually got a
Oh,
preview
there
of
it is.
Elizabeth's grade last night. So
Liz went with the A and Alan an A plus. Woohoo.
awesome.
Guys, there's a lot to like, The
There was a
lowest
lot to
score
love.
on this episode was a B plus.
And the only reason I didn't go with the solid A was because of the we didn't get to Peridia. I at least wanted to see the planet. At least see it.
Well,
I'm not-
Because it better not be
episode
Earth here and now.
Oh, there was a lot of that on the internet. Yes.
It better not be.
Yeah.
I'll stick with it, but it better not be, David. Are you listening, David? It better
Yeah.
not be Earth. Pull
By
the
the way,
episode if it is.
I think we have another co-host. Yep. I think we have another co-host.
Well, his timing might conflict if his work.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
if he's
no,
working
I
for
mean long term,
Danielson.
baby. I mean long term. Because Alan is working too. I'm sorry. That individual is working. Understandable, but that's what keeps us wanting more. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. But I mean, I've gotten so used to
It's
binging
how they
shows.
string us along. Yeah. See, folks, look, I appreciate, and we talked about this briefly. I appreciate what Netflix does. Dumping everything so you get to see it right then and there. But oh, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Very good, Elizabeth. We
Oh,
touched on
She beat me to it.
I was going to be a worse comment than that. So that's
Oh,
better.
please,
to it.
Senator.
No, I was going to say, are we sure it's a planet? It might not be a planet. It might
just
be
from
some
the
different realm.
Just from the star
something.
map,
Okay.
I'm saying it's a planet
Well,
that
but
has multiple roads leading to it.
well, exactly. So
And Elizabeth beat me to it,
but
like
but
the
maybe,
opera house on Cobol.
Yeah.
well, precisely. And but as I said, it might be a realm or something else, not
True.
a physical planet as we know it. They might just say it's a planet because they don't understand it.
Well, I mean, the perv will go back and forth.
We'll see who's right maybe next week. Maybe.
I'm gonna go.
I'm not
maybe.
thinking we're still going to get resolution just yet.
Because I mean, we've got to still be able to have, if they're going to have scenes there, and it's going to be the setting of a new scope. They've got to have places that they can shoot that stuff.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, it's not going to be yours, but that was still pretty cool, man. It's the Lost 13th Colony. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
was
the whole
something
map thing is
that,
cool.
what was it? 18 and 31. Oh, no, wait. 18 and there was some Star Wars numbers. 18 and 13, was it?
1138 was the THX 1138 was Lucas's first film.
Right, but no, there was something a little bit earlier that added up to 31, and I was going to work it in tonight for section 31, the evil. There was something 11 and 18 because it ended up being 31. What did I see earlier? Oh, man, I'm getting old. But all right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but all right.
Did I lose my 31 com badge? Nope. Where the hell is it?
I have my section 31 com badge as well. I wear it every now and then.
Uh-oh. That thing could be going off. They could need me.
You know what? I saw I-Beamer in the green room laugh when I whipped out the communicator. That was, yeah, you guys, that's you. I appreciate that, man. It was good. And I'm really glad what he said.
I think I've seen him around the internet before, actually.
Okay. Well, I appreciated his comment last week where he says, I'm glad I found you guys. That is really cool. See, folks, straight up, there's a lot of people that do a lot better programming when it comes to the analysis on the episode. But the difference between them and us is they pre-record all that. Ours is live conversation. And no one else is doing that. So
I think a
we're very
lot of
happy.
these people are up all night Thursday morning.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Huh, Michael?
Well,
Michael was up all night. I'm so
Well, yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah. I called him at about 6 this morning. Oh no, it's before 6. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I've been up all night. I'm like, ooh, sorry, buddy.
I mean, I might rehearse my thoughts so I don't get tongue tied, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, but I mean, also a lot of these guys that do their quick, 10-minute things. It's a different blogging than doing a live stream with chat and conversation. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
figured that out the first night I met you, Elizabeth.
yeah. No doubt about that. That's all right.
And I still talk to you because guess what? I'm nuts too.
I'm glad figured it out. It was Darth Vader's lightsaber once again. Like I say, folks, what is really cool about this scene is you can hear it hums and it's almost angry. Hear that?
Yes.
It's the only lightsaber that has that anger to it.
They still haven't shipped mine yet.
Yeah, it sounds mean. Wait, you ordered Darth Vader's?
No, I ordered Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces game series.
Oh, Alan made a comment earlier.
The saber was from Obi-Wan.
No, Alan had mentioned. There it is. I think about the memory from the map is the first time that ability is mentioned in a movie or show. First time I saw it was in the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game with Cal Kestis. And I did show it up, but I didn't read it on screen. So I think we did see it, Alan, but we didn't comment about it, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got it a little bit in episode.
Was it episode 1?
Or
Yeah.
episode 2
When
she was feeling what transpired between Shin and
yeah. Oh, I guess it was episode 2. Shin
yes,
and Sabine.
because Sabine was in the hospital. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, 3 people have been impaled and 2 of them have died. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2 of them have lived.
When I rewatched that with Sabine, it was much left, much right of center, below her ribs, so through her liver, but it would have been to the right of the vena cava. So she would not have, her spinal cord was not impaled. Qui-Gon Jinn was impaled dead middle.
You were talking about the relationship between the Jedi, and I caught that in the very first movie. When Qui-Gon is dying, the way he reached up to Obi-Wan, it was I got it. It was more than brotherhood. There was an affection for each other. They love each other as in they're in the brotherhood.
Oh, it
Yeah.
totally is Play-Doh. Totally.
Yeah, and it
And
is.
it's not the creepy Greek thing that everybody thinks
Yeah.
about.
If you guys want to make it
It's
bigger,
that mentor student relationship that goes beyond
there's an
the classroom.
affection there. Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember I think I told you, gentlemen, that I gasped when he was impaled by Darth Maul. I did like Qui-Gon. I liked his brooding way. It's just he was a good Jedi. I really
But
did.
you have that's Lucas. You
Yeah.
have to parallel the beats.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why the tropes work in Star Wars, because it's that pattern. The 3 acts, the 3 locations, it you do it over and over again. And, the repeated lines, the repeated sentiments, the repeated situations, it works in Star Wars. Because we've grown up with it. It's what we've seen. It's what we expect. And it's like when Jason said, I have a bad feeling at the end of the week prior. It's like, I almost want him to say, I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, you have a bad feeling about what?
You know, gentlemen, someone made this point, and everyone has forgotten it. We are the beneficiaries. Michael, Elizabeth, Darth. Star Wars was our child. It was made for us. George Lucas made movies for teens and preteens. He always knew there was an audience there, and he told stories for us. The problem is we grew up and he still continued to tell those stories. And we made his life miserable after the Attack of the Clones. I didn't, because I saw my daughters watching the prequels. That was their Star Wars. And my youngest jumped out of her chair in the theater, even though they tell me that's not what happened. I'm like, baloney, I was there. When Yoda engages Count Dooku, my youngest, who was 5 years old, jumped out of her chair and was in the theater because it was Yoda. And I was like, thanks, George. At the very beginning of The Phantom Menace, when I sat down, I was there opening day. Just as the movie started, I said to myself, George, you got my money. Entertain me. He had my money for episodes 1, 2, and 3. It was done. And that's all it was. I guess it was a forced prayer. I was George, you got my
I
money.
didn't dislike all of the prequels.
I didn't dislike him.
I there was aspects of them that I thought were very weak, but as far as the story, the whole arc of it, I loved. I thought they did an amazing job with the General Grievous stuff. I thought they did a great job with the immolation at the end of episode 3. Um, the transformation of Palpatine, the transformation of Anakin. Um, did I enjoy the corny romantic stuff between Anakin and Padme? No.
It's not one of his strong suits.
Um, did I enjoy Jar Jar? No.
Yeah.
Did I
My,
enjoy Watto? No. I kind of thought they were a little inappropriate.
what do you think? You're some Jedi or something? I
Only
thought it was funny.
money.
Yeah. But yes, it was what it was. Yes, and George listened. He pulled back. When I saw the Revenge of the Sith and Anakin walked into the throne room and the Padawans were there, I know there have been so many scenes. People have done memes, they've done jokes. I was horrified.
I still
And
say
I don't
Anakin
know
was
what I yelled
unbelievable.
out in the theater. I did. I was there opening day,
Yep.
and when Anakin was going to do what he was going to, to this day I don't know what I yelled out.
Mm,
But I think I called him something like effing coward or something.
that's old
I
coffee.
No, that's your deal.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I
Wrong
have coffee
glass.
unmade over there, but yeah.
Oh, that was the bottom of the grounds. Blah.
But okay,
Sorry
folks.
about that.
No, not at all. We've actually done quite a bit. We did very well on this episode. We got a lot done very quickly. I think our style worked a little bit more, and that's really more my fault. But we went through a lot, and I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be coming up with bullet points, and if we go through it, we're just going to go through it much quicker because the story is moving along. I think at first we had to go back. That's why there was so much commentary. Now it's this story, and that's why these reviews are tighter. So I don't know. Do you have any other comments,
We've got a little
gentlemen?
bit tighter episodes.
Well,
You
look,
know,
dude, we're doing 2.5, 3 hour episodes almost
we
always.
got 40-minute run times on most, at most on some of these.
And this is the first time we're almost done right now at an hour and 40 minutes. It's crazy. That's one of the shorter ones we've ever done.
We hit a lot, though. We really
Yeah, we
did. We
did.
didn't go off topic a lot tonight.
Hayden refuses to let his daughter watch the little ones be killed. Yeah,
I would.
that was stupid. I let
I
my daughters
I
watch.
wouldn't even let I didn't even want my grandkid watching Kenobi. I thought that when he killed that teenager,
Oh my God! As a minor tangent, forgive me, Michael. The only time that I was genuinely that I jumped in a theater was in Terminator 3 when she knocks on the door and the teenager answers and she guns him down. I was horrified.
there's something about
Yeah.
killing kids, isn't there?
Well, remember in Harry Potter, the fourth movie, when Voldemort hurts Harry, we had never seen like that an adult harming a child. And it was horrible for kids. Yeah.
Well, the audience was aging with Harry as well.
Yeah, they were.
So, I mean, the woman that wrote the books was smart in that she aged the characters appropriately with her audience.
And the other thing that was she was smart on is she treated this audience as adults. She knew they could think things through. She knew they could. She established a brand new audience or
Definitely.
target because
Yep.
she knew these kids were smart enough to get these concepts. She treated them, and look at what happened.
I still haven't watched the last Dumbledore movie. It's been out almost a year now, I
I have
think.
not seen the last one either. I've seen the first two, so I'll probably get around to it. I think I have them all. But all right, Michael, any last thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, appreciate that. Darth, anything else?
I'm really looking forward to next week because
Oh yeah.
I've been waiting for Peridia since the first episode, since they showed the map. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, we're going somewhere new.
Yeah, and I'm still not happy about that, but I'm in the story. I said that was a bad qualm, but that doesn't mean I'm not watching.
It ties to Thrawn too. Thrawn had a thing about maps and art.
Well, we shall see as we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to look at.
I
Michael,
hope
oh,
that
okay.
they have the little Silmarillion thing. Maybe the Silmarillion. I can't remember the exact name of it, but from the Zahn books, Alan will correct me on it. The thing that sat on Thrawn's shoulder in the Zahn books was
Okay.
like a creature that could block the Force. I hope those are pretty.
May
Good
the
night,
force
Alan.
be with you, Alan. Yeah, we're finishing up right now. Um, I wanted to say some. Oh, damn! I lost my train of. Oh, Jim, and everyone, I need your assistance. Look at this image. You guys like that?
Of
We could
course.
use it as a title card, and look at this one as well. These are from Lucasfilm.
Are we allowed to use them as a title card?
We're using the other one, dude. It's not whether we have permission or not. We're using it. It's everyone else does it.
Oh, she's so pretty.
You know what? She is. I like Miss Dawson.
You
Yeah.
know, I used to criticize from the Clone Wars that they made the Twi'leks and I can't remember Ahsoka's race that they styled them such that they could hide the difference between the appliance and their face. But oh my god, they do such a good job in this series of doing it, and they actually showed her without the jewelry, and they had like a transition between her skin and the appliance.
Yeah. No, it is. It's really well done. It's impressive.
Oh, the makeup is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, and I hope I know other actors have had issues with that much skin paint, and I hope she doesn't, or I hope they've gotten better with how they do it.
Well, it's not like the famous blowout with Jim Carrey as the Grinch, where he had a panic attack and he ripped the whole suit off because he couldn't get out of there.
Yeah, and Brent's, you can see the damage that years of being Data did to Brent Spiner's skin,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But I still thank him for what he did. I'm very happy.
Oh yeah,
So,
I do too, and still does.
yeah.
I mean, he has played every swung since.
All right.
Salamir, yes,
Yeah.
Salamir is the critter that sits on Thrawn's shoulder in the
Oh yeah, she's talking about Michael Dorn, how they had to redo the makeup and they made it a lot easier. He was in
yeah.
for like 2.5, 3 hours, and I think they got it down to like 40 minutes near the end of DS9 in the movies. Because he said he wouldn't do it because of that, and they just got better at it. So it was good. So all right. Well, look, we're gonna call it at this point. I want to thank everyone. It means a great deal to us. We know you're watching also after the fact. It means a great deal to us. Thank you. But we're good. We're working on getting this stuff done. Yeah,
Give us those
Salamir.
likes, give us those shares, get the word out.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And it's good. I found out JediTemple.com is taken. It's not list. Someone holds it. So I had to go with JediTemple.Coruscant. So if you guys need to get a hold of me, just go to JediTemple.Coruscant. So other than that, head on over to ndvmedia.net. All right, folks, we're out of here. May the
Good
force
night,
be with
Elizabeth. Good
you.
night, everybody.
I would love to play the one from Han Solo at the end of, well, not at the end, but where he says, "May the force be with you." When he really tells Luke, it was genuine, but Luke wasn't having any of it. So, thank you, General Grievous. Appreciate it. Thanks for
Oh,
staying on with us.
thank you.
So, all
Held
right,
in there the whole night. Awesome.
yeah, we'll see you guys on the other side. All right.